Hi everyone, and welcome back to West End Best Friend. And today we're talking to another very special guest from the cast of Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club. Playing Herr Schultz, it's Richard Katz. Welcome to West End Best Friend, Richard. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thanks very much. Yeah,
That's
doing really
great
well.
to hear. It's fabulous to have you here. Now, Cabaret has just announced an extension into next year, released another 30,000 tickets. How are you feeling being a part of such an incredible revival?
Well, it's pretty special, to be honest. I mean, I very rarely venture into the world of musical theatre for a start. So
Yeah.
that's already quite an unusually exciting thing for me to be doing. But
Mhm.
also, I'm sure all of us have so many experiences of being in a job where it's not going so well.
Right.
And, you know, to walk out every night to essentially a sold out crowd, they love it. They're on their feet at the end, literally every time.
Yeah.
What a pleasure. I mean, you know, my wife's a school teacher and she's like, no one stands up and applauds at the end of my day's work, you know.
They should,
So
though.
I know. Yeah, exactly. So it's an absolute pleasure. And I'm having the best time. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it feels like to be a part of this iconic show, and it really has become iconic. It's still probably the hottest ticket in the West End at the moment. Being in a show that is in such high demand, does that add any extra pressure to you as a performer?
Me personally, no.
No.
Not really, not
Right.
really. I think I'm quite solid about how I approach work. So I don't even think about that stuff.
Okay.
Frankly, the scary bit was joining a thing that you knew worked, that you knew was successful, that you knew people loved. I took over from someone who won an Olivier Award,
Right.
and so you go, okay, it's going quite well.
Just a bit.
People like it.
Yeah.
So if they stop liking it at the same moment that I join, you go, oh, okay, something's happened here. The most pressurized I felt was the Friday we did a dress run. And because of the way that rehearsals and logistics work, it was the first time a lot of the cast had even seen me do any of my stuff.
Right.
And so you go, I'm now about to sing and to move and to perform in front of all these incredible people at the very top of their game. So that Friday, that was a nervous few hours for me. So I have to just remove that part of my brain that's essentially ego, you know, going, man, you're not very good, are you? You know,
Right.
just trying to get rid of all that because it's not helpful.
Of course.
Because pressure, I don't feel pressure. I'm excited, which is great. I love that excitement. I love a little bit of spice in there, you know. I was in Warhorse for a year, so I did 300 and something shows. And still, after 300 shows in the wings, I'm like, okay, come on, here we go. Just because, well, I think the audience deserves that.
That's great. Yeah. And I see what you mean, because most people in the audience are seeing it for the first time. So they are expecting the same show as you would give any other night.
I always say to people, you know, because on stage, you become a connoisseur of the show very quickly. So I know the show quite well. So I'm judging it on the tiniest little nuances. Oh, my hat wasn't straight. Oh, I said have instead of may, or whatever it is.
Right.
And the audience were not aware of that stuff. If you start judging your work in that kind of detail in that moment, I don't think it's fair on you. It's not fair on them. It's not fair on your colleagues.
And the performance environment, shall we say, because it's not a typical stage and not a typical proscenium arch theatre you're performing in. This is a purpose-built kind of venue, the Kit Kat Club. What was it like kind of going into that environment for the first time? Does that enhance your performance, knowing that it is a completely immersive 360 production?
Absolutely. I mean, I saw the show a couple of times before I started rehearsing.
Right.
And I was just really aware that, you know, the great trick of theatre is to make the audience feel that they're part of it. You know, the act of the imagination is happening in here. It's not in front of them. It's happening in their heads. So you have to try and find a way of getting right inside that imagination. So by the time Fra comes out and sings welcome, bienvenue, whatever the lyric is at the beginning, the audience have already had, if they want, an hour of experience. They come in through backstage, they've gone through the corridor, they emerge into front of house, there's dancing, there's music, they're given a drink, you know. So it's like, wow, here I am, I'm in the Kit Kat Club. Yeah,
that's brilliant. It's great when people get into it and when it is kind of immersive. I've been lucky enough to go myself, and it is just incredible. You do believe that you're there, and it really sells the performance, doesn't it?
yeah, totally. Yeah.
And that also helps as well, because Cabaret, the content of it is very, very serious. People go expecting this kind of iconic show. Maybe they haven't seen the film before, and then they see this show, and kind of like halfway in the second act especially, it gets very, very heavy. Now, how, as performers, as a cast, because it must be very difficult to perform scenes like that, how do you keep it light backstage at the end of the day?
God, that's a great question. I mean, the backstage life, actually, because of the actual logistics back there, it's tight, it's small, it's pretty bloody hot, pardon my language. So actually, a lot of your time backstage is just about looking after each other, not getting in each other's way. There's obviously, like any show, it's a machine. Things are moving independently of each other. So sometimes it's about how you manage the gaps between your on-stage stuff, because you don't want to sit there in character for 40 minutes between scenes. Yeah. But I also want to keep my head in the right place. So you just learn over time how to be calm, and you know, some people like to play, I don't know, bananagrams or do the crossword together, or some people just sit, some people are quiet, some people don't have time, you know. And as you say, when you get into the later stuff, I have the luxury in a funny kind of way that, without giving anything away, I don't think my character really realizes how dark the moment is for him and for the place that he finds himself in. And so I'm able to play that. That's a great thing to serve. So when it arrives, you go, what? Oh, no. Oh, God. Because, you know, like all of us, we you know, the weather's pretty hot today, and you know, whether you think about the climate catastrophe or whether you think about politics, it's very hard at the moment it happens to go, oh yeah, we're going to have a revolution or whatever it is, because I think we human beings, we're not that self-aware. I don't think. You think it looks like it's over there, it's down the track a little bit, you go, oh, we'll be fine, it's going to be okay, you know. And that's, so I have the luxury of having that kind of attitude in the show. It's fine, it's going to be okay, it'll pass, you know. And of course the audience have a different perspective, and that's great for them. They can see through the prism of these people, they can see how well it might have been for them, their family, or their friends. So yeah.
And speaking of kind of keeping it light, as you've said there, your story between you and Prologue is a lovely moment of relief in the show, isn't it? It's a nice little break where you can just enjoy these two people at the start of a relationship, and that is a lovely moment in the midst of everything that's going on outside, which is kind of the general theme of the show, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And you know, and you've got another weird love story running in parallel between Cliff and Sally, and it's complicated because of who they both are and where they find themselves. I don't know, it's so hard now because I can't remember when I first experienced it as a story, how you feel. But I think probably you look at the Cliff Sally dynamic and go, oh no, that ain't gonna go very well. And you look at the Schneider Schultz and you go, oh, that might work.
Yeah.
And so, and Kandra and Eb have this wonderful, they can play with those expectations a bit, and these two stories sort of intertwine and come together and come apart and everything. And neither sort of go the way that you think they're going to go. So it's a wonderful piece of writing. The writing really is first class. It's just incredible. Yeah.
It is. It's fantastic. There's a reason it's been revived so many times, because every time it is revived, it's viewed with a different kind of lens in the audience, because we've all gone through something else since it's happened, and it is great to see the different interpretations of the story, because it can be interpreted in so many different ways. And this production is a phenomenal one, and it's great to see something so immersive, so unique on the West End, isn't it?
Totally. And also, you're watching people who give it I first time I saw it on Monday night. Right. I thought, okay, it's Monday night. Honestly, there's no one on stage who's not giving it 100%.
Yeah.
The ensemble is just phenomenal. people that aren't pulling their punches by any means. So so that's also such a wonderful thing. You're seeing it live in front of you, people at the top of their game giving 100%, which in any environment, whether that's theatre or sport or anything, to see virtuosity is always so exciting.
You can see the work that has been put in by everyone, and it really is visible. It's a phenomenal show. Again, make sure you're booking tickets if you get the opportunity. 13,000 new tickets have been released, with the cheaper ones up in the upper circle as well. And of course, if you're lucky enough to be able to sit in the stalls, you're going to have the best experience. It is incredible. So thank you, Richard, for taking the time to come and chat to us about such an incredible revival of Cabaret. And I hope that the rest of your run, you're just at the start of it now, I hope the rest of your run is as brilliant as the last 30 shows that you've just done. Thank you for coming to talk to us.
Thank you so much.